What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here. We got a Raw rating in last night, and we have another name announced for the Hall of Fame. Plus, I'm wondering if there's a concerning trend towards one superstar with the Raw ratings, or with ratings falling down, I should say. I want to talk about all this, but first, I would like to say, if you're new to my channel, please hit like and subscribe, or just the subscribe button. I'm looking to grow my channel, so if you do that, I'd certainly appreciate it. I stick up to date with the wrestling news of today, and I review Raws, SmackDowns, plus I look at the old events, Monday Night Nitro, Monday Night Raw. I do the Monday Night Wars. I'm in early 1997 right now, but the good thing is you don't have to follow along with me. You can just go back. I archive the results and the reviews, so you can go back to whenever you want to relive the Monday Night Wars. My channel is a great source to go back to whenever you want to relive the wars. They're all archived and in a playlist. So they're there for whenever you want to relive the Monday Night Wars. You don't have to do it right with me as I go along them. So just wanted to plug the channel for a second before I get into this video. This video, I'll be talking about the Raw rating, and I'll be talking about the Hall of Fame, and I'll be talking about John Cena as well. So let's get right into the Raw rating. Raw fell about 100,000 people this week. That's concerning for WrestleMania season. There's no Monday Night Football to go up against, and you're drawing this. This shouldn't be the normal rating anyway, even if it's not WrestleMania season. But the fact that they drew a mid 1.6, that's what they did. They did a 1,649 thousand. Not good enough. Last week they did a low 1.7. It was a 1,738 last week. This week's a 1,649. The first hour did a 1,720,000 average, the highest. The second hour did a close 1,710,000 average. The third hour then dropped drastically by 200,000 people to a 1,520,000 average. What that says is that the third hour is not must-see television, and the viewers go away as the hours go on, which is the opposite of what happened in the Attitude Era. We'd see that as the hours go on, the fans got more and more into it. As the third hour or the second hour, I should say, was the highest hour. But this hour, hourly breakdown, the last few years, the third hour has usually been the lowest for Raw. So that's why you shouldn't really blame one person, because the third hour is generally the lowest. But I've noticed a trend, and I'm not hating on the guy. I'm not his biggest fan, but I'm not hating on him. It's just whenever Drew McIntyre is in the main event, I've always kept an eye on the rating. And Drew McIntyre, for whatever reason, I don't know if his character gets over with the casuals as much as it does the smart fans. The smart fans can see his talent, right? He's got talent in spades, but do the casuals really buy into his character? Because what is his character? Is he a Scottish psychopath? Well, when he was a psychopath, he was joking around with the commentators, Charlie Caruso back in the day. When he's a Scottish warrior, is he a Scottish warrior? Well, he's kind of a hypocrite for a Scottish warrior. So you don't really know what his character is, and he doesn't really have a name. He's just Drew McIntyre. So there's that problem, and he's I don't know if he's the most marketable guy right now, and he's always they're drawing towards a huge Drew McIntyre match. I mean, he's in one of the main events. Should be a main event. It's not. I don't know if it's going to actually main event now, but he's in a world title match at WrestleMania, so they're going hard on Drew. But the numbers right now for his matches and segments, I've noticed, haven't been the highest. And in fact, they've not only been low, but there's usually a huge drop-off whenever he's in the main event. And I've noticed that going back to the pandemic. And then, you can say, that's just the pandemic. Well, not really, because during the pandemic, it was also a drop. The fans were there for the first and second hour, but when Drew was in the main event in the third hour, the fans just dropped. So you can't really blame the pandemic on that, because the fans were there for the first and second hour. But then in the third hour, when he was in the main event, it dropped. And this is coming at a time where I'm talking about this Drew McIntyre rating issue. This is coming at a time where I actually starting to finally like his character, even if there is a lack of a character identity. I'm actually finding what he's saying pretty entertaining lately about Seth Rollins and how his CM Punk jabs. They're at least somewhat entertaining. I'm a CM Punk guy more than I am a Drew guy for sure, but I'm actually hoping that he beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and takes the world title. I want to see how a Drew McIntyre reign does with fans. I want to see if his numbers continue to be low. I want to give him the chance to be champion with fans and not judge him based on low ratings. Because I've just noticed a trend with McIntyre in the main event. Typically, the ratings get a little bit lower than average. And I'm not blaming it all on Drew. It's a lot of the booking. It's a lot of how he's booked. You could blame Jey Uso just the same. It takes two to tango, right? So it's just that's a big drop, 200,000 people from the second hour to the third hour. Especially when the third hour it's not like the quality dropped. The third hour was arguably better than the second hour. But to drop 210,000 people, it says something. I'm not exactly sure if it's all Drew's fault or not, but like I say, it's two to tango. So Jey Uso, whatever the crowd they booked, fans just weren't interested in that third hour. So we'll see if Drew's got lots of time to prove people wrong. He's got lots of time to prove the haters wrong. He's got lots of time to prove people like me wrong if I'm saying that there's a trend here. And if he's going to be in more main events as the time goes on. He's going to maybe get the world title, so we're going to get to see what a Drew McIntyre title reign and see if he draws better than Seth Rollins. So he's going to get a lot of time to prove people wrong if they are pointing the finger at him. I'm not so much pointing the finger at him as I am just trying to say that there's something noticeable here about Drew. There is something fishy going on here as far as what his booking goes. The rating just typically doesn't do well when he's in the main event, and it's just a trend I've noticed, and it sucks because, like I say, I'm starting to like him, and if you're a smart fan, you see the talent he's got in spades. You see but the casual fans see that. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, that's Drew, and that's the Raw rating. In the 18 to 49 demo, they drew at 0.54. That's down from last week's 0.57. And for reference, what does that number usually have? Well, day one did a 0.60 in the 18 to 49 demo. And when CM Punk returned back last November, that did a 0.66 in the 18 to 49 demo. And this is, of course, a 0.54. So I'm just giving you a reference point so you know what the 0.54 is compared to and what it usually is. Usually it's in the mid 0.5s on average. So this is just an average rating for the 18 to 49 demo. But some people think that demo is more important than the overall number. So that's why I go over it. Last week, the Raw rating did a 1.738 million. So this is about 100,000 people less than last week. This 1.649 million that they hit. For WrestleMania season, though, it's far too low. And I'm not blaming one guy, but I am noticing a trend. So that's just to end that topic. As far as the Hall of Fame goes, we've got a new person announced, the first female announced for the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame, and that is Bull Nakano. So congratulations to Bull Nakano. She made her name in Japan. She's a bigger Japanese lady that wrestled in the WWE and the WCW in the mid-1990s. She was known for her slicked up hair, face paint. She was a good agile worker for her size. So congratulations to Bull Nakano. Also, John Cena was in an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and he was talking about if he was one day become a 17-time WWE champion. And I just thought to myself, that would be pretty interesting. But John Cena, should he become a 17-time champion and break Ric Flair's record? I don't know. Some people think Ric Flair's record should stand. Some people think that Cena should remain tied. Now that he's tied, there's no Flair being ahead because Flair's retired, hopefully. And Cena and him are tied right now for 16. So will John Cena beat his record one day? It made me think. So I just thought to bring that up because that's a maybe. He's still got time, and he's not inducted into the Hall of Fame yet, as John Cena. So we still got a lot of time for that to happen. So yeah, those are the few items in the community right now going around. Also, Drew McIntyre, what he said to CM Punk chants. He kind of trolled the audience like he has been. Like I say, I'm starting to kind of like Drew, but the numbers, I just hope the numbers back up his segments, because I've just noticed a trend, and I can't be dishonest. I know if I made a channel, I said to myself, I'm just going to be honest on topics. I'm just going to talk about facts. I'm not going to sway my opinion and go on a biased rant. I'm going to, because my bias is to rip apart Drew's character, but I'm not going to do that if it's not based on facts. So I can rip on his character in some ways when there's facts involved, but if we're going to look at facts, we have to look at ratings. We have to look at numbers. And I'm doing that with Drew, and I'm noticing a trend. But to be fair, when you look at facts, what I'm trying to say is when you look at facts, you have to be fair. And you have to not just say, it's one guy that's doing that. It's like when a WWE champion is champion, you can't blame the rating all on that champion. You can't look at his episodes. Like when Eddie Guerrero was champion, he took the ratings personal on SmackDown when they were low. And it's like, I wanted to just say to Eddie, it's not you, man. It doesn't make, people don't go, who's the champion right now? Oh, honey, Raw's on? Well, who's the champion? Oh, that guy's the champion? Nope, we're not watching Raw. That's not what happens. So to say, but the champion being whoever the champion is does matter, because you want to see, because that's usually who the story is behind, the main storylines involving the champion. So that's a huge drawing point, the champion. But it's not gonna turn people away in waves, and it's not gonna make people watch in waves. It does matter, but it's not that example with the honey who's champion. That's how silly that sounds. So it does matter for who draws and whatnot, but it doesn't matter as far as the ratings go to a high extent anyway. As long as the storylines are around other people, then it's not just that one person. But anyway, I've rambled on that enough. I just hope that Drew McIntyre can prove people wrong. I hope he can prove me wrong. I hope that if he becomes champion, that the ratings are higher than when Seth Rollins is champion, because I'm not a big fan of Seth Rollins. Again, I like Drew and Seth as talents. I can see they're immensely talented. I'm just not a fan of either guy. I like CM Punk. I'm more in that Cody Rhodes, CM Punk kind of group than I am in the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins group. I like Roman Reigns. I'm in that kind of group. I'm not sure if there is a group that separates those wrestlers, but I'm just telling you the guys that I do like, just to show you that I'm not a hater on everyone today. I do like Punk. I like Cody. I like Roman. But just Drew and Seth. There's something about Drew McIntyre talked about how Seth Rollins, everything had to be about him, and he kind of shooted on that last Monday Night on Raw, and I love that, because I really feel that that's how he feels. Seth really wants to be the center of attention no matter what's going on. Whatever big topic goes on, Seth has to tweet about it. He has to. He really thinks that the WWE, when he cut out that promo about "This is my home," he really thinks that this is his home. He really thinks now that Becky's his wife, and now that he's got his daughter backstage, he really thinks the WWE is like his home and like his turf, his territory. He's the man of the house. Becky's the woman. The kid is the mon. They're both the mon of the house. The kid is the golden child, right? Backstage, everybody's seeing her. Yeah, so I don't know. Seth... there's something about Seth that bothers me. So when Drew said that, I really started to like Drew. And, Drew McIntyre, I really want to give him a fair shot before I blame him as a ratings disaster, or I say that there's a big trend. I just saying there is a trend. I've noticed it since the pandemic. If he's in the main event, for whatever reason, the crowd goes down. The numbers go down quite a bit in the ratings. But we'll see. There's a lot of opportunity to be proven wrong, and there's a lot of opportunity for growth. Fan acceptance can happen, and I think there's a lot of casual fans that are actually starting to like Drew, just like me. Even though I'm not a casual fan, but there's a lot of people out there that are just starting to dig what he's saying now. that shirt that came out, I wasn't a big, but he's showing a side of him that has layers, and that's all one can ask for. You know, I mean, you don't want to be bland. You don't want to just be one-dimensional. You want to actually have some character. And I'm not sure Drew knows what his is yet, but he's getting his footing, and it's weird as it is to say, because he's been a former world champion. Usually by now that character should be established, but right now he's still growing, and he's got growing pains, and yeah, we'll see if he turns out to be the draw that he thinks he is. All right, so that does it for the Raw rating. Again, a 1/7/20 in the first hour, 1/7/10 in the second hour, and a 1/5/20 in the third hour, with a 0.54 in the 18 to 49 demo. That's down from last week's 0.57, and it's down from last week's 1.738 million to this week's 1.649 million. That's the Raw ratings. Congratulations to Bull Nakano. And for Drew McIntyre, well, he's got a lot of time to prove people wrong, so I hope he does. I hope he becomes champion, and I hope he gets that chance to draw bigger numbers than Seth Rollins. And if he does, then I'll definitely be pointing it out, because I'm not biased in any way. I have opinions, but I also say facts. And if my opinions aren't backed up by facts, they don't hold as much ground. So I'll definitely be here to report if Drew McIntyre does draw big ratings, or if he's in a main event, for instance, even if he isn't the champion and he draws a great rating, I'm going to point that out too. So I want to be fair here. But for as of right now, Drew just, for whatever reason, whether he's got bad luck or not, his segments typically draw less than average, which is concerning. But WrestleMania being here, the season being here, and drawing a mid 1.6 is concerning enough. So the company's got bigger issues than wondering if Drew McIntyre is a draw or not. So I kind of went on a long spiel about that, but I just felt it was deserving of a further explanation. I didn't want to just say something and then not explain it. So that's why we're here for 17 minutes. But if you're still here, thank you. I hope I explained myself enough. Please hit like and subscribe if you like the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.